Your favorite semiconductor stock, Intel, just got saved by my favorite semiconductor stock, NVIDIA, and stock prices are going crazy. NVIDIA is up nearly 3%, Intel is up nearly 30%, and AMD, unfortunately, is down nearly 5%. Now, on today's episode, I want to take a closer look at this partnership that NVIDIA and Intel just announced. So let's see what the chip just happened.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right. So like I mentioned, there is a partnership happening now with Intel and NVIDIA and Intel to develop AI infrastructure and personal computing products. Intel is to design and manufacture custom data center and client CPUs with NVIDIA NVLink, and NVIDIA to invest $5 billion in Intel common stock. So we'll look a little bit more in depth in everything here, but just from a top level overview, we understand what's happening. So NVIDIA is investing in Intel, which is really great, but then having a partner like NVIDIA, right? One of the kings in the king in the AI market right now, the current leader, saying they want to design and manufacture custom data center solutions with you, where you use your CPUs and they use their GPUs via NVLink, is a massive, massive win. That is the main reason we see Intel up 30%. I do believe most of it has to do with the NVIDIA partnership of it, right? The $5 billion is great. I would expect maybe the stock to be up 10, 15% on that. I think a good portion of this growth is coming because it is NVIDIA. Now, for NVIDIA, the stock is up for numerous reasons, right? We are seeing that they are expanding more into the consumer and data center space. I'll talk a little bit more of why the data center market here, when with Intel, is actually pretty big. Because some might say, Jose, doesn't NVIDIA have their own CPU already? I'll explain a little bit more about that. Now, for AMD, on a top level overview, it makes perfect sense why the stock is dropping, right? If you're just reacting right off the bat, AMD's competition, Intel, in the CPU market, just got a massive lifeline, and they just got an amazing partner from the AI chip space. So this collaboration, the market is expecting, if in the near future we do see an Intel and NVIDIA product, how will customers react? Would they rather go with Intel and NVIDIA, or would they rather go with AMD and their full stack solution? So here it kind of creates a little bit more pressure, a little bit more friction, and the market doesn't like that. The stock is down roughly 4%. Now, the main reason it seems that they got the deal, obviously there's the business aspect, but Lip Bhutan, the current CEO of Intel, has been killing it. Excited, he posted, excited to team up with my good friend Jensen to jointly develop multiple generations of custom data center and PC products. Our collaboration brings together the best of Intel and NVIDIA to benefit customers, and shows how vital x86 architecture and NVLink will be shaping the future of AI infrastructure and personal computing. Looking forward to speaking with you at 10 a.m. Pacific time today. There is going to be an event. I did not even know that. Pretty excited for the event. Now, Lip Bhutan, let me just say, has been killing it. He is very respected in the semiconductor industry, that he has gotten investments from SoftBank CEO Maya-san, if I believe that's the, I'm pretty sure I butchered the name, but the SoftBank CEO invested because of the strong partnership, of the strong friendship that he has with Lip Bhutan. If you look at a recent conference, they literally asked that question: why did SoftBank invest in Intel? One of the reasons is obviously the valuation is absurd, what management mentioned. But the other thing is, they had a strong relationship with Lip Bhutan, because Lip Bhutan is very respected in the industry. So Intel has done really well with choosing this CEO. I've actually said that plenty of times in plenty of videos. I don't own Intel, but I am very happy for all the Intel shareholders out there. You finally get a win. Congratulations. And I'm happy because if many are not familiar, long time ago, this channel's been pretty old, but I always used to make fun of Intel because I used to call it your favorite semiconductor stock. It's never been my favorite semiconductor stock, but it's doing pretty great. Now, I come back here. They talk a lot about manufacturing and design in this. Well, they mention design and manufacture custom data center and client CPUs with NVIDIA and NVLink. I personally believe this is more of a design win. Even here, we can kind of see that they're jointly developing CPUs and custom data center and PC products. It's not a CPU or GPU, it's a custom product. It's a mixture of both, and we're going to talk about that. But I believe this is more of a win to the design. We haven't really seen in the whole presentation, you don't really see much about what manufacturing node this is going to be built on, or if it's going to be using a manufacturing node. Maybe that's what we're going to learn in the conference, but I do believe as of right now, from what we know, this is mainly a design win. Now let's talk a little bit about NVLink. So NVLink, for those that are not familiar, is the ability to connect. In theory, at first, it was the way to connect GPUs together, kind of like this really high-speed bridge. It's a high-speed traffic that allows these GPUs to make it seem like one. Well, eventually, NVIDIA started to do this with the CPUs as well. Started to connect NVLink to their own products. Now you have NVLink with their Grace Blackwell CPU, their Grace Hopper system, where you have NVLink connection between a CPU and a GPU, which is very crucial for AI workloads. More recently, NVIDIA announced what they called NVLink Fusion. So this was going to be the time when NVIDIA is able to license or sell this connectivity to either custom CPUs or custom GPUs. So in this example, you can see a Rubin GPU connected to a custom CPU. That custom CPU has integrated NVLink solutions. Now, this custom CPU in this example could be, you guessed it, Intel server products. And that would be a massive win for Intel, as they will be able to, one, sell more server solutions, but connect it directly and have a massive speed against AMD, because they will be using NVIDIA's GPU solutions. Now, this works other way. If other players want to use NVIDIA's CPU, NVIDIA can use their CPU Vera and then connect it to customers' XPUs or GPUs out there. But this is a big win in my opinion, and I can see why competitors, especially AMD, might be a little bit afraid. So the NVLink is a big win. Now, I highlighted some great information. So Intel and NVIDIA today announced a collaboration to jointly develop multiple generations of custom data centers and PC products that accelerate applications and workloads across hyperscalers, enterprise, and consumer markets. The companies will focus on seamlessly connecting NVIDIA and Intel architecture using NVIDIA's NVLink. We should all know what all this, but the big reason this is a win is this is in the x86 market. NVIDIA's NVLink has only been to their ARM CPU, and ARM CPUs are great, especially for AI workloads, right? But a huge amount of the market is still running on x86. NVIDIA doesn't have an x86 solution. Now they do. Now this opens up the world for them to even grow more in the enterprise place, in the digital cloud infrastructure place that is still being run behind x86. Now I am curious. I'm going to add another stock in the list, ARM stock. I would wonder if ARM is down. Yes, ARM is down on this as well for that reason, right? Many were expecting ARM to continue to gain because of the partnership with NVIDIA. Now you see ARM investors a little bit worried. Wow, NVIDIA is actually going to Intel to expand their x86 use case as well. More friction for them, kind of like that same friction we saw with Synopsys. Now, for data centers, Intel will build NVIDIA custom x86 CPUs that NVIDIA will integrate into its AI infrastructure platform and offer to the market. For personal computing, Intel will build and offer to the market x86 system on chips that integrate NVIDIA's RTX GPU chiplets. These new x86 RTX will power a wide range of PCs that demand integration of world-class CPUs and GPUs. So, big win for the consumer market and the data center market. We had heard reports that NVIDIA wanted to enter into the CPU consumer space. Maybe that didn't work out. Maybe it didn't go in the right direction. And Jensen is just saying, instead of me focusing in this space, I'd rather focus with someone that can benefit the x86 market here, and I just rent out, sell out, license out my GPU chiplets. So pretty interesting there. I would love to see a roadmap next, right? A roadmap would be crucial. When do we start to see things? 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, when? Now, NVIDIA will invest $5 billion, like we saw, at a price of $23.28. The investment is subject to customary closing conditions, including required regulatory approvals. Now, I did post on my X account. Feel free to follow me there. But there are some questions here that came out that I wouldn't mind answering. First, if you want more great charts like this, make sure to check out fiscal.ai/Jose for 15% off. One informative semiconductor news, and I'm definitely going to cover. Check out whatthechiphappened.com. Now, we do have some questions. So we have Nick here. Jose, how material would you say this is for AMD? Long-term wise, could this be a big time negative for AMD in the chip space? I responded, I'm still processing, but at the top level, it just ensures that AMD's competitor in the AX86 market will have a strong partner. So friction for AMD has increased. Now, AMD just needs to continue to develop and maybe announce some interesting partnerships themselves. Another question, why is TSMC down 2.3%? Main reason, while the partnership is mainly a chip design win for Intel. We're going to hear a little bit more about the manufacturing maybe during the event. The $5 billion investment is a sign that NVIDIA wants another manufacturer player to survive, which could be seen as a minor threat for TSM. Let's see if we have some other questions that are coming in. Nope, no other questions coming in, but we are seeing some other price reactions. TSM, like I mentioned, down about 3%. Not a major threat. I don't feel like NVIDIA is going to change their Blackwell GPUs, their Rubin GPUs, or any finite GPUs to Intel. It's more of this niche product that they're going to make with Intel that is going to go with Intel manufacturing. So I see the top level, but the more you think about it, I think the TSM sell-off is a bit of a overreaction, of a knee-jerk reaction. Valuation of the stock, I haven't looked at it, so that could be another thing, but I really wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, we do see Applied Materials and ASML up a nice amount. Why are these equipment players up? Main reason, Applied Materials, ASML, and all these semiconductor equipment companies, they only have a selected amount of customers. Intel, TSM, Samsung. Intel has been delaying certain things. They've been slow with purchasing because they're not doing that well. Now, if you showcase that they're going to probably do well in the manufacturing, the market seems to be expecting them to go out there and buy more equipment, expand their manufacturing push. And if that is true, obviously they're going to buy these types of equipments. That's why the equipment space is up right now. Now, there is another interesting stock, Synopsys. Synopsys is up roughly 10%. Luckily, if you have been following this channel, we talked about Synopsys 3 days ago. Unfortunately, the video didn't do so hot. Synopsys stock crash. By now, I talked why I was very bullish on Synopsys. And one of the main reasons Synopsys stock dropped is because they did a little over investment in creating IP for Intel. And they were saying that Intel wasn't getting many customers. Now you're seeing the opposite, right? Now you're seeing a major customer. Again, we don't know if this is for 18A, for 14A, if it's for even something below there. We don't know that. So we have to wait for the roadmap to see some finalization on price reaction. But now Synopsys is saying maybe you can actually grow in the IP market because now you're going to see some traction from a really, really big player. It's also some internal and external use cases. So that's why those stocks are up right now. So again, I hope I explained everything. If you had any questions about this, let me know in the comments below. I am not an Intel shareholder, like I mentioned, but congratulations to those that have. I'm happy for the semiconductor industry because the semiconductor industry is ripping, and this is the best channel you're going to find any semiconductor news. We just hit 78,000 subs. Appreciate it. Can we hit 79,000 by the end of September? Let's see. Peace out and see you next time.